Sea Smoke Cellars in California is a small company that functions in a very original way. Its owner, Bob Davids, a former head of several multinationals, applies the precept of Lao Tzu. The true leader takes no part in the action.
I'm in Miami. I have an apartment here.
I heard that.
Yeah, it's just sort of a hideout.
The 2012 is showing really well in my mind.
Great.
It all began 15 years ago when Bob Davids bought land for planting vines.
Sea Smoke, this was going to be my retirement business. And the companies I started before, some of them got up to 8,000 people. And I found that there is a correlation that the more people you have, the less fun you have. So I wanted a company that didn't have a lot of people and was focused on fun.
He recruited a small team of just 6 people and gave them an ambitious mission.
Bob's objective was to basically produce, well, depending upon which day you catch him, the best Pinot Noir in the world or the best Pinot Noir in the United States. I'll take best Pinot Noir in the United States because it's a lower bar.
Victor Gallegos is the general manager, but he doesn't take any decision without first consulting his colleagues. Bob Davids never tells them what to do. It's up to them to come up with solutions, even if they get it wrong.
My job is to give the questions, and your job is to give me the answer. So one of the tricks of being a leader is don't give the answers. Ask the questions until the people can get to the answers themselves, and then you catch them. The first thing is to not take other people's problems, not to take, I call them their monkeys.
In 2003, we had some very difficult weather during flowering, so we had a lot of variability in the vineyard. I called Bob on my cell phone.
I had stopped working, I was retiring, and I was living in Bahamas.
Hey, Victor, what's going on? I said, well, I've got some bad news. You know, we've had this difficult spring. Bottom line is I have to drop $1 million of fruit on the ground.
Okay, why are you calling me?
Do you think I'm qualified to make the decision?
At that time, I saw that he's trying to hand me his monkey.
He said, that's why I hired you. Don't try and pass me your monkey. Click. End of conversation. That's Bob. So no ego, like he's acting like he's the guy who's gonna make all the decisions. He gave us the objective, he hired the right people, and he leaves us alone.
With Bob, it's kind of a double-edged sword, too, because when you're given all of the liberties and all of the trust to do your job and do it well, you better perform, because you have no excuses at that point.
And it worked for Bob, too. Every year, Katie sells around 150,000 bottles via internet at an average price of 60 euros. Do the math. Sea Smoke is a real success story. Delegating responsibility and giving freedom is clearly possible with a small staff. But how do you do that with a company of 1,400 employees? Founded by Émile Poult in 1883 in Montauban in the south of France, the Poult Group is a major player in the biscuit market. Nicole has been working here for 30 years. She knew the company when it operated along traditional lines.
Hi, what's up? It used to be a strict hierarchy. We had a factory manager, staff manager, foreman, and production line managers.
The company had a strict hierarchical culture. There were the underlings.
We were like soldiers, robots. Turn up, do what you're told, don't ask questions.
And the chiefs.
I was a production line chief. I was responsible for just one line. I had to sort out people's holidays, conflicts if there were any, and be sure that the line was functioning without a hitch and everything has to do with that.
We were watched really closely and strictly regimented about what we should and shouldn't do. We'd soon end up in the office if we'd been a bit naughty.
In 2001, with Poult in serious difficulties, along came Carlos Verkeren, a Belgian entrepreneur who used to work for an investment fund. He settled in Montauban, determined to turn Poult around with a new approach.
Close down factories, sack people, cut costs, anyone can do that. You don't need to be fantastically qualified. You just have to lack a bit of sensitivity and go for it. But to turn things around through innovation, new products, that's more complicated. That's what we decided to do.
In 2006, he gathered everyone employed at the factory for a brainstorming session. Everyone was invited to come up with new ideas, whatever their job or their position in the hierarchy.
We were invited to take part in this new organization right across the board, from top management down to simple employees like me. And they asked us, how do you envisage the factory in the future? How could things be improved? And things like that.
Working groups were set up to meet and continue the discussions. After a great many meetings, it was decided to get rid of all intermediary hierarchical posts.
We didn't just say, let's get rid of the chiefs. After lots of meetings and thinking, we finally realized that yes, we could keep a production line going perfectly well without someone to oversee it.
Well, there was a clash because when you have a hierarchical position and overnight it's taken away, you really have to come to terms with accepting that. Most of the former chiefs left because they felt that losing their titles sort of diminished them in the outside world.
They were no longer chiefs. They lost their power, so I think they felt underestimated.
For the former bosses, it may have been a hard pill to swallow. But the other employees weren't necessarily any more enthusiastic at first.
Lots of people were against it, including employees like me. They thought we were heading straight to the wall.
It's a lot easier just to be given orders, to have someone tell you what to do. You don't have to think, you just do it. Now, when we tell teams, decide for yourself, it's a lot harder. It takes longer. It can cause tensions, and the team has to deal with that. You could always blame the chief before, but now there isn't any.
Nowadays, all decisions are taken by small groups representative of the entire company.
The pallets, where should I put them? You stuff some here and you stuff some there, and soon you don't know where the products are. We have to decide on the exact zone for each item.
There are a lot of things that chiefs did before, and someone still has to do them. So operators developed new skills, took on specific tasks. For example, they do all the planning, the scheduling of the production week, who's going to be on holiday, who's not there, the clocking in. There's no hierarchy anymore structuring everything.
To everyone's surprise, it worked. Poult is recruiting and is back in profit. In fact, it's such a success that other large companies have been sending human resources teams to the Montauban factory to learn their secret.
They think we're Martians. We're like Martians.